Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I want to talk about jobs, but before I do, I want to say that the allegations that have been raised by Winston Peters in the House today about the accessing of his cell phone records is an extremely serious allegation. And it sits alongside, Mr. Speaker, the behaviour that we have seen from this government and from John Key and his office in particular that shows no respect whatsoever for the privacy of New Zealand citizens. Be it a journalist in the form of Andrea Vance, be it a politician, or be it the GCSB and all New Zealanders, the respect for rule of law and privacy from this government is seriously in question today. The fact that the Prime Minister's office thinks that it can direct the parliamentary service adds to that. This government does not respect the privacy of New Zealand citizens, and it does not respect the separation between the executive and other parts of the parliamentary complex. Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party was formed on the basis that the value and contribution of workers to the economy needs to be recognised. Our guiding beliefs are about the value of work, a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. But more than that, Labour recognises that in work lies things that are of great significance to New Zealanders, to their self-esteem, to their ability to provide for their families and care for their families, and to their contribution to society. Work, jobs, good, safe jobs are at the heart of Labour's vision for the society that we want to live in. Jobs and work are at the heart of our policy, which is why that it gives Labour and me no comfort whatsoever to learn today that 153,000 New Zealanders are out of work, unemployed. We have no pleasure that in the last 3 months, 5,000 jobs have been lost. And Mr. Speaker, these are not just statistics. These are real people with families to look after, mortgages to pay, who are losing their jobs. From Dunedin to Dennyburg, from Nelson to Napier, jobs are being lost and families' lives are being put at risk. And these real stories range right across the age groups. From the young graduate who's come to see me, 8 months after graduating, 100 applications for jobs, no job, does not know what to do with his future. Or to the gentleman from Christchurch who I found sticking under the door of my electorate office his CV, having also applied for nearly 100 jobs since leaving Christchurch to come to Wellington, and those jobs are not there for those people, Mr. Speaker. New Zealanders have given the National Party the benefit of the doubt, the global financial crisis, the Christchurch earthquakes. But now, Mr. Speaker, is the time when New Zealanders should be seeing some hope from this government that things will get better on the job front. And instead, Mr. Speaker, all there is fear that they will lose their job. And in actual fact, it is the earthquake and the recovery, rather, from the earthquake that's now propping up the job market. It's no longer possible for this government to use the excuse of the earthquake. It is meant to be helping with the recovery. And it is no longer right, Mr. Speaker, for this government to continue to blame the global financial crisis nearly 5 years after they took office. They promised New Zealanders 170,000 new jobs. They will fall woefully short of that mark. In the last 2 years, only 17,000 jobs have been created. That's across 2 whole years. That is simply not enough from this government. And imagine just how much worse it would be if 200,000 Kiwis hadn't taken flight to Australia. Unemployment would be well over 8%. So, Mr. Speaker, what does a proper jobs policy look like? From Labour, what it will mean is giving exporters a fair go, getting R&D going, making sure that training of workers is a priority, giving Kiwi companies a proper go at government contracts, and real regional development policies that focus on industries where there is growth, in manufacturing, in ICT, not the National Party's approach of the search for a silver bullet that simply cannot be found. Mr. Speaker, it is only with Labour that change to a real jobs policy will happen. I want to finish with an old saying to try to give comfort to some people who are out there looking for work. They say a recession is when someone you know loses their job, a depression is when you lose your job, and a recovery starts when John Key loses his.
Honourable Tim Goroster.
Mr. Speaker, the
events that have unfurled with respect to potentially contaminated infant formula over the last